Snakes in Suits When Psychopaths Go to Work by Babiak, PhD, and Robert D. Hare, PhD. Narrated by Todd, McLaren. Copyright 2006 by Babiak and Robert D. Hare. This unabridged audiobook is published by arrangement with Babiak and Robert D. Hare, care of Trident Media Group, and was produced in the year 2011 by Tantor Media, Incorporated, which holds the copyright thereto. Preface. Most workers are honest, loyal, law-abiding citizens, concerned with making a living, contributing to society, and raising a family in a fair and just world. Others, though, are more selfish, concerned only about themselves, with little regard for fairness and equity. Unfortunately, there are some individuals in the business world who allow the responsibilities of leadership and the perks of power to override their moral sense. A rise in the number of reports of abuse in major corporations should not be a surprise, given the increased access to unrestricted power, resources of startling proportions, and the erosion of ethical standards and values. Some who have faltered may have experienced a weakened moral sense of right in the face of excessive temptation and easy access to power. Others may feel justified in reaping the rewards in proportion to the size of the organization they lead, arguing that their extravagances seem excessive only to those who have little hope of being so rewarded. Still others have embraced the self-serving mantras that greed is good, and that success at any cost to others is justifiable and even desirable. But another group exists, one whose behaviors and attitudes are potentially much more destructive to the organization and its employees than those previously mentioned who are motivated by greed or big egos. This group, the subject of this book, displays a personality disorder rooted in lying, manipulation, deceit, egocentricity, callousness, and other potentially destructive traits. This personality disorder, one of the first to be described in the psychiatric literature, is psychopathy. A dozen or so personality disorders have found their way into the psychiatric nomenclature. What makes psychopathy unique is that its defining characteristics and traits often lead to behaviors that conflict with the generally accepted norms and laws of society. Some people with psychopathic personalities are in prison because of their crimes against people and property. Others are in prison for committing economic or white-collar crimes, such as fraud, embezzlement, or stock manipulation. These are crimes against businesses and institutions, as well as the employees who work in them. In addition to the problems their abusive behaviors cause to spouses, friends, and family members, individuals with a heavy dose of psychopathic traits are potentially harmful to professional relationships. For example, their grandiosity, sense of entitlement, and lack of personal insight lead to conflict and rivalry with bosses and co-workers, and their impulsivity and live-in-the-moment philosophy lead them to keep repeating these and other dysfunctional antisocial behaviors, despite performance appraisals and training programs. Many experts believe that these traits alone make it difficult for psychopaths to have successful long-term careers in industry. At least that was the conventional wisdom, until we did our research. One might think that conning or bullying traits in a job applicant would be so obvious to employers that such candidates would not be hired for important jobs, especially those where the ability to get along with others is critical. One might also think that abusive, deceitful behavior toward coworkers would eventually lead to disciplinary action and termination. But based on the cases we have reviewed, this often is not the case. There are 4 possible reasons for this. First, some core psychopathic personality traits, we might call them talents, may seem attractive in job applicants and contribute to their success at being hired. For example, psychopaths can be very charming, able to talk their way past even the most seasoned interviewers. When it is to their advantage, they can display a charisma that can disarm and beguile even the most wary individuals. Just as those who have unwittingly married a psychopath find themselves trapped in a web of deceit, abuse, and pain, so too can a company make a faulty hiring decision and find itself with a serious problem on its hands down the road.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?